This is the video for the 30th of December 2016, and the title is Self-Righteousness, the Most Deceptive Sin. Last night, I attended a meeting of a group that I go to from time to time. An old friend was there, and I sat next to him. The meeting hadn't started yet, and there was conversation among the early arrivers. I made a comment and was corrected by this man about being negative. To me, truth is neither negative nor positive. It just is. Anyway, he got up and moved to another part of the room on the opposite side from where I was sitting. That triggered the memory of the last time I saw him at another meeting. When I saw him, I went and sat next to him, since he used to attend the meetings I held in my home. Well, he changed seats then too, moving to the opposite side of the room. I thought nothing of it then, but last night it landed. He did not want to be in my energy that he judged as negative. I realize this is self-righteousness, a sometimes subtle yet very deceptive sin. This led me to serious self-examination and reflection. Indeed, when I came home from the meeting last night, I had a bit of trouble falling asleep because this was on my mind, and it was the same thing that was on my mind when I woke up this morning. So it's been eating at me, and I've been reflecting on it, as I said, not just on my own situation, but a broader situation too. Now, I have gone out of my way throughout my life of trying to build bridges. I have explored the various religions and tried to look for the common ground, not where the other ones are wrong, but where they're right. And the only right thing is that we love one another. The only right thing is that we don't see each other as an enemy. We don't separate ourselves from them. We try to build bridges to them, and that's what love does. Love builds bridges, not walls. It's not about separation. It's about connection. And as I reflected on these things here this morning before I'm making this video, I realize that all of the ills in the world result from some group. It doesn't matter what the group is, but some group thinks they're superior to everyone else, that they're the only ones that are correct in their assessment of what truth is. And it's very divisive. And we look at the world that we've created by this insanity of believing that we're the only ones that can see truth, that we're the only ones that knows what's right and what's wrong, and we have to stay away from those that are different. The Jews, especially the fake Jews who come from the Ashkenazi Jews, they are notorious for thinking themselves to be superior. And by far and large, they're the ones that rule the United States, Israel, England, and much of the Western world that tries to dominate everybody else. The extraterrestrials, call them whatever you want, the extraterrestrials that supposedly messed with mankind's DNA a long time ago and created a hybrid race, a subhuman race, if you will. They considered themselves superior to everyone else, and they were the ones that became our gods. And they were the ones that created religion because they feed off of negativity. Self-righteousness is negativity. It's not positivity. It's it's that which divides and separates, and it's the most insidious because the people that buy into it think they are actually superior. And in the United States, it has led to these superior thinking people of thinking that they have the right to commit the most heinous sins of all. And that's the same thing that happened with this extraterrestrial race that came in and took over the world for millennia. They felt that they were superior and they had the right to not only dominate, but to enslave humanity, to enslave everyone that wasn't like them, to try to keep themselves separate and pure. That's another thing, you know, don't mix. You got to keep the bloodline pure as possible. And these are the attitudes. The self-righteousness is what creates all of the wars, all of the famine, all of the animosity that we experience as human beings and that we've been experiencing lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, generations following generations. We have built on this self-righteous attitude of I'm right and everybody that's different than me is an outsider. They're some other class, but they're not like me. We're all like each other. There's only one kind of being in the universe, and that is beings that can only survive by loving. And anything that isn't loving ends up being destructive, ends up creating all the negativity that we experience, because it is the most negative of all things possible. And when we consider it negative, we try to back away. When I used to have my meetings, I mean, when I'd invite the imam from the Muslim congregation, I mean, I got such flack from so many people that how dare you invite the imam, a Muslim, to speak in our spiritual group. You're poisoning our group, Ron. Don't you get it, Ron? And people, I don't know if this man was one of them, but there were people that moved away from the group. And I mean, I had that imam speak a couple of times, and I actually had some women from the Muslim congregation come and speak to the group. This idea that one group or one segment of society is the only ones that have a copyright, if you will, on the truth is insane. That's insane. We are all created from the same source, going back to the very beginning, and have to be. Why we ever thought we could separate from that source and become special is part of the insanity. It's part of the craziness of our minds that distort our hearts from the ability to love. Our hearts love. When we follow our hearts, we follow love. But when we follow our minds, we distort everything. Everything gets knocked out of whack. Now, I'm not saying to put away the mind, but the mind has to be subservient to the heart, not the other way around. And this has been what I've tried to get myself and what I've tried to put forth for years, for decades of my life. This is what I've been focusing on. It's why I have gone out of my way to try to see the common ground and find the common ground, because that's what love does to me. That's how I see it. Thank you for listening. And tomorrow will be the last message for this year. Namaste.